So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Google Pixel 4a 5G full review. Now, I've had this phone for a few weeks now, but I wanted to use it in depth before giving you a review. You can see 5G on the box right there. Hashtag Team Pixel. Thanks for sending this out. And definitely overall going to be pretty similar to the boxes before. So we just skipped the unboxing. Over here, Google Pixel 4a comes in one color, just black. It goes for $499, but you can get it on sale right now if you get on it before the holidays end, and that's going to be for $459. So a really good deal here, even before doing a trade-in or anything like that. This comes in at a lower price point than something like a Galaxy FE, for example, and I really like the value that's on offer here. So the key specifications that are going to matter here on the Google Pixel 4a are going to be a 6.2-inch Full HD OLED display here for the device. That's pretty neat. We also do have a Snapdragon 765G chipset in here, 6 gigs of RAM, and it also does have 12 megapixel plus 16 megapixel ultra wide. So the smaller 4a, if I recall, didn't have an ultra wide. So that's a really neat touch. In addition, 3885 milliamp hour battery here and Android 11 to boot. Okay guys, so when it comes to the body, this phone is actually bigger than the Pixel 5 and it's bigger than the 4a. So this is a bigger phone if you want this 6.2-inch body. You can see we have a plastic back. On the bottom, G logo. At the very bottom of the phone, you can find yourselves you do have a microphone and a speaker, USB-C, and Google did include a fast charger in the box. Thank you, Google, for that. Also, Pixel imprint right here, very useful during these times. The camera bump, not that big. At the top, you will find yourself headphone jack. On the left side, you will find yourself the SIM card tray right there. No expansion for storage, nothing like that. And around the edges, there's like a shiny kind of plastic frame around the edges of the Pixel 4a 5G. So that's basically the body of this phone, what you can expect. 168 to 70 grams, just around there. So not too heavy, not too light. The plastic does keep the weight down a bit. What I like about it is that the plastic body, you don't have to worry about it cracking. It stays clean pretty much all the time. It's just a clean, simple, just black phone. So discussing the display, it's an OLED HDR display, 6.2 inches. It does have 84.1 screen in the body, so you do have a punch hole camera up there on the display. And I will state that of the chins on an Android phone, this one is not the thickest I've seen, so it's not that bad. Pretty thin bezels. Google also includes some pretty neat wallpapers that do go with the camera. All these in the For Fun will have something that, kind of blends in with the camera hole. So in settings, if you go to display, you go to advanced, you'll see down here colors. You'd have adaptive, boosted, and natural modes. In addition, you could throw this thing in the dark mode as well, and you could schedule it out here. And overall, pretty decently high PPI at 413, and it's always at that resolution, 60 hertz, so we don't have 90 hertz smoothness, but still the Pixel device is one of the smoother 60 hertz Android phones. So I will say that overall, you're getting a pretty fantastic display for the money. You're just not getting 2K, 4K resolution like that, but I think most people will be happy. The only thing I will state I'll have to zing this phone for is the brightness. You have to crank it up to really get the brightness out of this phone. This has been a problem for a lot of Pixel devices. I really want to see Google improve here, where you don't have to crank it all the way up to get that brightness out of the phone. So it does seem a little bit dimmer, but other than that, I think you'll really enjoy what Google has produced here with the Google Pixel 4a's display. So when it comes to software, if I didn't tell you this had Android 11, you probably would think it has Android 10 because visually it doesn't really look any different. You do have a screen recording option. You do have a different power off screen. You do have some bubbles. You do have, live caption on here. You do have plenty of what you need. It's just a very clean and simple software that will be updated for quite some time. And yes, Google did decide to keep the gesture ability to go ahead on this phone, so you don't really have to worry about that with system navigation. If I could sum it up, this is just a clean Google experience once again that gets updates, has live captions, has some neat little improvements to the software. I like that you could schedule dark mode now, and on the whole, you know what to expect here. A clean, simple Google Android experience here. Definitely more Google-fied than the other phones. If you're really into the Google services, look no further than a Pixel 4a 5G. Okay guys, so when it comes to performance, Snapdragon 765G, 6 gigs of RAM, the phone feels butter. It feels super smooth, and in my 3 weeks using it, I haven't had any real lags, any delays. You can even play some great games on here, no problem. And so what I really came away thinking is that you're getting near flagship performance for a mid-range price with a mid-range processor. So don't worry too much about it. You're going to be just fine with the performance here with the Google Pixel 4a. You might run into a stutter here and there, but nothing that's going to crash the system or anything like that. Okay guys, so discussing the main cameras, we do have 12 megapixel plus 16 megapixel ultra wide. Like I've stated earlier, you can go 0.6x or you can go 2x on the zoom, and it does have the super res zoom, of course. What's neat about this camera is that you can do 4K 60 as well as have the super stable video stabilization modes for cinematic pans. I'm going to show you some samples in a minute, and also you have night sight. It does cut back a little bit on the front facing camera, only 8 megapixels, 1080p 30, so don't expect the best front facing camera. Phones out there can do 4K, but it does have an excellent rear camera. Pretty much in line with what you expect from Google, like super sharp results, super AI focused photos, and you can adjust shadows and brightness. So yeah, overall, one of the better cameras, probably one of the best at this price point, actually, if not the best. So when talking about the audio performance,
well, I've had this phone for about a week or so now, and I'm ready to give you a full review on the device, kind of what it's like, what I've been experiencing with it.
So it has a very loud bottom speaker. Not super great on the top, so don't cover this one up when you're using it, but it definitely pretty loud.
Explain why this phone is
super loud overall for this phone. I wouldn't say the best in terms of the most full, but it's plenty enough at $459, $500. Nobody's going to be disappointed there. And headphone jack. That's a rarity in the industry these days, so getting a headphone jack is just neat. Google didn't even have to include this, but they did. Okay guys, so when it comes to the battery life, you'll see right here, we do have 41% right now. This phone has excellent battery life in my experience. The adaptive battery learns your usage over time, gives even better battery life. Standby time is great on here. I've been averaging right around 7 hours, 8 hours screen time with this one on my usage, keeping that brightness a little bit under 70%. You could see right here, fast charger does come included in the box, so you can have quick charging when you need it as well. So Google going with the full HD display, going with the mid-range chip, helps you out in getting that all-day battery life. And 3885, it's going to be a pretty good capacity to last over time. So definitely a win here in battery life. Okay guys, so in conclusion, having 5G at $549, having basically what you need in a phone. Yeah, this is not the prettiest phone in the world. It also doesn't have the most premium spec in the world, but what it does provide you is a very practical, everyday, simple to use, and it does give you most of what you need out of a smartphone. So I didn't really think much about, my flagships when I was using this. It kind of felt like a flagship, to be honest, with a few minor differences, a little bit of cheaper parts, but on the whole, I mean, what you do with a smartphone, the Pixel 4a can take care of it just fine. So if you love, Android experience, but you want it simple, definitely consider the Google Pixel 4a 5G. So let me know your thoughts on the Pixel 4a 5G. Did you pick one up? Are you going to pick one up? Do you have your eyes set on this phone? If you have any other questions, drop it down below, and I'll leave a link to check out the Pixel 4a 5G as well. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.